$100 billion. That is roughly the market value that has evaporated from the EV startup sector in the last 12 months. We aren't watching a market correction. We are watching a mass extinction event. For years, the narrative was simple. Who will be the next Tesla? But that question is now dead. The real question you need to ask yourself is, who will survive the next 5 years? Today, we're looking at the big three of the non-Chinese pure EV players: Polestar, Lucid, and Rivian. On the surface, they look like the future. Beautiful engineering, massive hype, and a loyal fan base. But if you look at the balance sheet, the cash burn, and the brutal geopolitical landscape, the story kinda changes. By the end of this video, I'm going to prove to you why one of these companies will rise to become the number 2 automaker behind Tesla, and why the other two are likely heading to zero. Why are we drawing the line in the sand today? Well, because the EV winter has entered a new deadlier phase. First, the interest rates are no longer at zero, meaning the era of free money that allowed these companies to burn cash without consequences is now over. Capital is expensive, and investors have lost their patience. Second, the Chinese invasion is here. BYD and Xiaomi are building cars better and faster than almost anyone in the West. This has forced the US and Europe to erect massive tariff walls. This makes our non-Chinese picks, Rivian, Lucid, and Polestar, strategically vital. They are the only shield the West has left besides Tesla. But here's the catalyst. Legacy Auto is panicking. Ford is pulling back, GM is struggling with software, and Volkswagen just admitted defeat by investing billions into a startup to save their own software stack. The chess pieces are moving, and it's time to call checkmate. Let's start with the brand that looks the best on Instagram, but the worst on paper: Polestar. Polestar has an undeniable aesthetic. They leveraged the Thorshammer design from Volvo to create immediate brand trust. They didn't have to build factories from scratch. They used Geely's existing manufacturing power. This asset-light model was supposed to be their genius. They have great cars. The Polestar 3 and 4 look incredible, and the build quality is significantly higher than early Teslas. But that asset-light model is now their noose. Polestar doesn't own its own destiny. They are effectively a sub-brand caught in a divorce between Volvo and Geely. Volvo just dumped a massive portion of its stake in Polestar because they couldn't stomach the losses anymore. Polestar is burning cash, their stock was threatened with delisting from the Nasdaq, and critically, their non-Chinese status is a technicality. They are heavily dependent on Chinese manufacturing, making them vulnerable to the new tariff wars in the US and EU. Lastly, they are struggling to differentiate their tech stack from the generic Geely ecosystem. The math just doesn't work. Without a proprietary technology moat, and with their parent company stepping back, Polestar is drifting. My prediction? Polestar goes bankrupt or is fully absorbed back into Geely as a trim level within 6 years. They simply cannot survive as a standalone public entity in this market. Next, we move on to the golden child, Rivian. Rivian has achieved something only Tesla has done. They made EVs cool to people who hate EVs. And the brand loyalty is cult-like. But the game changer is the technology. Their zonal network architecture and software stack are so good that Volkswagen, the second largest car company in the world, paid $5 billion to access it. They aren't just a car company, they're a software company. Similarly to Tesla, this vertical integration is their moat. The R2 and R3 announcements broke the internet, proving mass market demand is there. Now, don't get me wrong, they are still in production hell and still have a lot to prove. While they have improved significantly, they are still losing money on every vehicle sold, though they are approaching margin profitability. They will need to drastically cut manufacturing costs and navigate the factory shutdown for retooling without losing momentum. Their free cash flow has been scary, as you could see, but the VW injection solves the immediate liquidity crisis. To conclude on Rivian, I think the VW deal was the kingmaker. It provides the capital to survive the R2 and R3 launch and the scale to drive down supplier cost. My prediction, Rivian survives and thrives. By 2034, Rivian will be the number 2 American car company right behind Tesla. Finally, we have the tragedy of the group, Lucid Motors. Let's be clear. From an engineering standpoint, Lucid is the king. The Lucid Air Sapphire is likely the best sedan ever made, gas or electric. Their efficiency is unmatched, their motors are miniaturized masterpieces, and let's be honest, Peter Rawlinson knows how to engineer a vehicle. But engineering doesn't sell cars, branding and pricing do. Lucid has a demand problem, not just a supply problem, whether it's with the air or the gravity. They are burning cash at a horrifying rate. While Rivian has Amazon and VW, Lucid is entirely on life support from the Saudi Public Investment Fund. To put it simply, Lucid has missed the market window. They are selling $80,000 plus sedans in a world that wants $45,000 SUVs. Their marketing is invisible, and their interior software, while improving, still lacks the fun factor of Tesla or Rivian. Yes, I know. The Saudi Public Investment Fund has deep pockets, but they aren't a charity. Eventually, the math becomes undeniable. Lucid's burn rate is unsustainable for the volume they are moving. My prediction? I think Lucid will go bankrupt within the next 5 years. However, the technology won't die. I predict the Saudis will take the company private, strip the assets, and license that incredible motor technology to legacy automakers like Aston Martin, which they are already doing. Lucid, the car brand, dies, but Lucid, the tech supplier, might survive. Now, could I be wrong? Of course. So let's play devil's advocate. For Polestar, if trade tensions with China ease and Geely decides to go all in on funding them as their primary global face, they could survive as a niche luxury player. For Lucid, the Gravity SUV is their Hail Mary. If the car launches flawlessly and the interest rate drop back, maybe they find the market. Or maybe the Saudis truly have infinite patience and will fund them for a decade just to diversify away from oil. For Rivian, the risk is execution. Scaling the R2 and R3 manufacturing line is the hardest thing they will ever do. If they botch the launch, even VW's money won't save them. So here's the verdict for the next decade of EV wars. Polestar, a victim of geopolitics and the confusing corporate structure, gone in 6 years. Lucid, an engineering marvel that failed to become a consumer product, gone in 5 years. Rivian, the only company that cracked the code on culture, software, and strategic partnerships. The future number 2 automaker in America. Let's face it, the EV market is maturing. The participation trophies are gone, it's survival of the fittest. And right now, Rivian is the only one hitting the gym. So I want to know if you agree. Am I being too harsh on Lucid? Is there a secret weapon Polestar has that I missed? Let me know in the comments below. I read them all. If you want to track the EV market with me and see if my predictions come true, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.